Hello, hello. Go live. Go live. Okay. Perfect. Wow, what a drop. Okay. I just want to make sure this is working. Kisco Smoke Shop represent. Just give it a minute. I'm just waiting to make sure everything's working on that. Yeah. Let's do it. Okay. So let's kind of get into it. First, let's just talk about the market. Obviously, today was pretty choppy. Overall, you could see we kind of just sat in between these levels. We did a iron condor today, and we're going to go over spread. So that's why I'm kind of diving into that right now. We did an iron condor today. That worked out perfectly. As you can see, we really didn't move out of this range all day. We made it from the first hour, was our first 30 minutes, I should say, was our range. And from there, we did not move the rest of the day. Yes, we had up and downs, but we did not make new highs. We did not make new lows. And if we made new highs, we made new highs by like a few points. So it was nothing crazy. And you can see we had support and resistances along the way. 146 being a support, there's a light blue. The 239 was a key level all day, and the 300 was a key level all day. You could see a couple different shorts that you could have had at that area. So big spots throughout the day, and we took advantage of that doing spreads. So let's kind of dive into it. First, I want to go into what I specifically did for a spread today. So this is going to sound a little gibberish, but I'm going to explain it to you in the simplest way possible that I know how. Okay. So today I traded Qs. Today expiration. I sold a 522 call and I bought a 524 call. Okay. So when you're selling a call spread, because that's what that is in that case, you're selling the 522 strike because you believe that Qs is not going to go over that area, over that price. So 522 is my sold strike. I don't want Qs to go over that. That's how I'm going to make profit on the day. And I'm buying the 524 strike to basically come up with the premium allotted. So selling the 522, let's say, is 15 cents, and buying the 524, let's say, is 5 cents. The difference between 15 minus 5 is 10. So I'm going to make $10 per contract on each contract I buy. Now, because it was a $2 wide strike, 522 and 524, that's obviously $2 wide, you're going to need $200 per contract you want to buy to set that up. So if I get one contract, I'll make $10 on the full profit, but my risk is $200. If I'll need $200 to do so. If I get 10 contracts, I can make $100 at full profit, but I'll need $2,000 to do this trade. And this is where everyone just shies right away because they say, okay, it's way too much money. They look at that profit to technically the risk and they go, it's way too much money. But in this case, when you're doing spreads, you are never, ever giving up that amount. And especially the way that I do them, I do it very low risk, low reward. It is basically what spreads technically are. And what I do is very high probability. So when I'm entering a trade, for example, something like that, I'm looking at a 90% plus probability of winning that trade. And you could look at that by looking at actually when you look at a broker, for example, everyone uses Robinhood, let's say, okay? When you go into queues, okay, and you go to that sell side, and honestly, if you wanted to do this now, you could. You go to that sell side. So you're probably gonna have to do tomorrow expiration. And let's say you go $10 out. You're probably gonna see that's over 85% probability to profit that you would make money on that sell side contract. On this, selling that 522 today was a 94% probability of profit. Okay. So there's a 94% chance that Qs would not get over 522 today, and I would win that trade. And again, it worked out. I don't even think Qs got over 518. Yep, Qs did not get over 517.71. So plain and simple right there. Now we also did a put spread as well. So this is what makes it a condor, but let's kind of go on the put side first. So I sold a 507 put and I bought a 505 put. So what that basically means is when you're selling a put spread, you want the price to stay above a certain area. So normally when you do calls, a regular one-sided option, you want when you buy calls, you want the price to go up. Okay. When you buy puts, you want the price to go down. Okay. In this case, you want the put spread, you want it to stay above a certain price, and a call spread, you want it to stay below a certain price. And that's how you're going to make your money. So you don't need a directional move when you're doing spreads. And that's what makes this a great strategy. Okay. Because everyone is always looking for a directional move. Everyone is always looking to turn that 1,000 into 1,000,000 because they see so many profits on social media. And that's where you could easily get hurt. Whereas something like this, it's slow, it's a slow compounding strategy. But once you start to compound, it really starts to kick up. So again, sold the 507 put, bought the 505 put, and my total combination of this was $12 a contract at a $200 per contract entry. Okay. So I got 35 contracts of that, which means I'm making just about 440, 450 bucks at full profit if we stay in between those levels. And again, we did that today. It was perfect and we made full profit. So that was perfect. Now, hopefully that was pretty simple. Let me just check and see if anyone has any questions on that. Okay. So we're pretty good there. So again, spreads very simple to understand, and kind of what you can see here is so I've been documenting all my trades. You guys can see it every day, especially when I post them either on Twitter sometimes. I did post the condor that I did today. And you can see I've won 154 of them and I lost 24 of them. Okay. 86%, 86.5% win rate. And you can see throughout the whole thing, the profit and losses. And you can see the whole journal. You see there's a lot of green, and you could obviously see there's red. You're never going to be 100% in any specific strategy you do, but you could see here for the whole month of after January 14th, I had a full month and a half of green trades. And it was slowly adding up. So yeah, I did have a $1,600 loss here, but you can see I started just adding these up 300, 150, 500, 700, 300, 400. Okay. And again, it just keeps adding up. Right now, I'm on a pretty good streak as well, just about a month of trades, and it's been pretty consistent. You can see, pretty much $400, $500 almost every trade, a couple 200s, a couple 300s, but it's been very consistent. And again, that is what spreads is. It's about consistency. It's about compounding and doing that. So a lot of people ask me, obviously, one, how do I enter these trades? What am I looking when entering these trades? And two, the stop loss. So I want to go to the stop loss first. because I think risk management is the biggest part of trading in general. If you're not able to manage your risks, obviously you're not even going to be able to continue trading at all. So one thing I do here is with my spreads, I do a 200% stop loss. So what I mean by that is, okay, so let's say, for example, the $470 that we made today. Let's just make it 500. Let's make it clean and simple math. Okay. Let's say I was expected to make $500 today in profit. Okay. So with that, my stop loss would be $8,000 because that would be 200% of that 500. Now, the reason why I do the 200% is because within 2 trades, I'm able to make that money back if I lose and possibly even go profitable. So it gives me that 2 to 3 trade buffer. And again, with the consistency and probability of winning of just about 90% plus on these trades, you could see you could easily make that back and compound it. So if I lose once, I can make it back in 2 to 3 trades and be profitable. If I lose twice, I can make it back in 3 to 4 trades and be profitable. So that's why I keep it that. I did experiment with 250%. I did experiment with 300%. I experimented with 150%. And I found that 200% is right around that sweet spot. So that's why I kind of stayed consistent with that, because it also lets you stay in some of these trades that actually would end profitable. If I did the 150% stop, that would end profitable. And I just missed it because it just nabbed that 150%. Where I could add a little more leeway. And there's even actually a couple of trades on here that I did get stopped at 200% that went profitable at the end of the day. So, I mean, the win rate could even be higher, but sticking to those rules, sticking to that strategy is going to be key to your success. So that is basically an example of a put spread, example of a call spread, example of how I do my stop losses. And basically we went over the example of the Iron Condor is where you do a put spread and a call spread. So we kind of went through that. Hopefully that was pretty easy to understand. And again, this will be recorded. Well, it's being recorded right now. So you'll always be able to go back to it. You can always ask me any questions, especially on Twitter or on our Discord. And if you're interested in trading live with us daily, doing spreads, doing options, doing long-term trading, check that out at bulltradefinder.net. Let's go into how I find these plays. But quickly before I do that, I do want to state here on Patreon, I started this service because a lot of people requested this. They wanted long-term charts, long-term investing. So I get that low price. I even post some of them for free. So if you want to join for free, we have 50 plus members in the first day and 1 paid. Again, you don't have to do paid. I do put some of them behind, the paywall, but look, you could see a lot of these are public. And we have the chat community in there too. In the chats, I do put my long-term buy and sells. Also do that in the Discord as well. So whether you're more of someone who just wants to look at kind of setups, I have that on here. And a lot of people requested this, especially with the market being down, 20% just a few weeks ago. We had really good long-term buys there. For PLTR, we had PLTR at 15, it's at 130. We had Rivian at 12, it's at 16. And that one, I believe, is going to go 10 times from here. Oscar around 12, it's at 1440 right now. It was at over 16, 17. HIM's at 17, went all the way up to 70. It's currently at 55. Hood at 35, now 65. So again, we've had really good buys, and people requested it. So I made it something really cheap, $19. If you're interested in the paid version where we go a little more in depth, but we have this here as well. All right, let's actually get back to what I was doing. I just wanted to state this because a lot of people did request it over the past few months. So again, what I'm looking for when I'm doing these spreads. So let's kind of go into my thought process and my rules. Okay. And I'm not going to hold you guys that much longer. I'm going to be another 5 minutes. And then I'll answer a few questions if there is any. But what I'm looking for here. Okay. So market opens right here. Okay. I wait for the first hour. I feel like this has been the best way for me to, after trading these for 4 to 5 years, or actually probably even a little bit more than 5, um, I found that the best rules for me was waiting 1 hour post open to kind of see where the market's going, see if there's any fake outs, see if there's any trend going at that specific time, or if we're just chopping at that specific moment. Today, I waited just about 2 hours. So around 11:15, 11:30 is where I started my trade. We could actually check it right here. Yeah, 11:13. So right about here is where I started my trade. And it looked like we were just chopping. Okay. It didn't look like we were going to, really trend. So kind of was looking for a condor where, again, I wanted to stay in between two spots. And if you look at Qs on the daily, okay, because this is where we traded, our high of day yesterday was 523. Our low of day yesterday was 511, let's just say, okay? So I'm looking for safety areas, okay? We have big volume point of control at 517. We have big resistance at 518 to 519. So I'm looking at contracts over 519 at least. And really, I like to go at least 1.5% if I can out of the money. Okay. Same thing, the put side. So we had 511 as our low. We had 509 as our gap up low, opening, I should say. And we had 507.86 as a gap, little mini gap here. So I sold a 507 put because I don't want Qs to stay go below 507. And it looks like we were going to hold this 512. 511 was our low. 509 was our low from a couple of days ago. And then I sold a 522 call because I didn't believe we were going to get above the volume point of control at 517 here, or the resistance at 518 to 519. So first thing, I'm looking at previous days. I want to see, okay, what was our ranges the past few days? What was our highs? What was our lows? And I'm looking at that. Then I want to look at, again, waiting that hour of trading, kind of see if we're chopping or if we're going to trend. That's a big key because if you jump the gun too early, you could just, again, be jumping the gun. And it's not really being patient and having good discipline. You're just entering a trade to enter a trade. Again, when we're trading, obviously our goal is to make money. That is why everyone comes into trading, is to make an income, make it their job, or again, just prosper. And that's our goal. So being smart, being patient is going to be key in trading and just anything you do, obviously. So waiting an hour, 200% stop loss, looking at my previous day ranges, highs and lows. And those are going to be key things to kind of navigate when opening a spread and or condor. I always like to do same day expiration, just consistent compounding day after day. If you're under 25,000, you could do swings. But I would do next day, and I'd wait till about, again, 11:30, 12 in this case, give it 2 hours. And also go farther out, like 2% out if you can, 2% plus out if you can. I think that would be the best scenario to do. And then with that, let's see, you're going to need level 3 options. You're going to need a margin account for spreads. And that's about it. Hopefully this was kind of short and easy to understand. Again, very high probability strategy with low profit, but it consistently compounds. If you follow your rules, that 200% stop and everything in between, you will be profitable with the strategy. You just got to be smart. You got to be patient. And if you're struggling with trading overall, I think this is something you should definitely look into. I'm going to look and see if we have any questions. Let's see. if we do not have any questions, then let me see. Okay, I don't see any questions in the Discord. Is a stop loss mental, or can you actually do a stop loss on platforms? That is a great question. So the stop loss is mental. Now, some platforms do allow you to set a stop loss, and some don't. If you have a platform that does let you set a stop loss, I would definitely do it, because then you don't have to worry about it. You, if it stops out, it stops out, and that's it. You move on to the next trade. Okay, there's no need to go crazy, and then not that set that stop loss if your broker has it, and then watch it go 250%, 300%, 350%. That's where you're going to get killed. You got to follow that risk management, follow that strategy. Then Chart Mafia just said, what is the trading platform you use and what is a margin requirement? So trading platform I use, so for the copy trading right now that we're doing, I'm using Tradier. You could use Robinhood. You could use Public. These are all brokers I've used before. You could use E-Trade. You could use Thinkorswim or Schwab it is now. I believe Schwab, by the way, does have, you could set a stop loss. Actually, I know it does. Public does not. Robinhood does not. Tradier does not. I've never used Fidelity, so I'm unsure on Fidelity. E-Trade, I believe you could use a stop loss for spreads. Trying to think of other ones. Not too sure. What is your margin requirement? So you just need level 3 options and margin approved to trade spreads. Now, margin requirement kind of depends on the position size you're doing. Yeah, so I can't really answer that, but it kind of depends on the position size. Pretty good. Made the video in under 25 minutes, so it'll be a quick, easy watch. And I'll cut up in some clips for everyone too, so make it a little bit easier. If there is no more questions, Interactive Brokers does offer stops. Yes, thank you, JF. You are correct. That's not one that I've used actually for this either. Yeah, I haven't used Fidelity and I haven't used Interactive Brokers for this. So yeah, that would make sense because it is a bigger brokerage they usually do. I'm surprised Robinhood. Honestly, I'm surprised most of them don't have it. I wonder why. Because it's just another, again, it's just another regular option, and all the other brokers have stop losses. So I'm confused why it's not for spreads. Kind of is weird to me. I don't know if there was something that extra that they have to add or something of that sort. It's weird. But other than that, if there's no more questions, this is recorded, so you're able to check it, and I'll post it on kind of all platforms as well. Actually, I think it's already basically being posted there. But overall, if you guys are interested, join us at bulltradefinder.net. We trade live every day, trading live just how you see it right now, screen sharing, face. You get to see my ugly face every day, hear my beautiful, childish voice, and let's make money. But other than that, again, no matter what, even if you're just coming here to learn and not actually, conduct the spreads, just be smart in your trading, size appropriately, proper risk management. I don't want to see anyone get killed. I mean, I answer DMs every day. Don't be afraid to DM me. I answer every single DM. I'm not one of those people just because I have a following, I don't do it. So do not be afraid to do that. I think it's kind of fucked that people don't answer DMs. Listen, we all have time. If I was in your place, I would want the same thing, done for me. I want my DM answered. When I'm going into other industries, I want my DMs answered. So I hope everyone has a great night. I will catch you all later. Let's have a great day. If you're interested in trading with us live every day, join us at bullettradefinder.net and have a good one.